Welcome. Good, good morning. Good morning, good morning. It is good to see you here this morning. Here we are in the first week of spring. It's still chilly, but the days are longer and the sun is coming out to greet us. First of all, how many of you made it to the anniversary party? Woo! Yay! Great. Pretty fun, huh? Let's give a big round of applause to the party organizers, Melissa Garcia, Tracy Blender, Jen Holcutt, and Sheila Raymond. Thank you so much. And to the table hosts, who each created a unique table setting for your enjoyment. And the music, of course, Severin came for us, and Carl, Gary, thank you all. And last but not least, thanks to everyone who did a masterful job in cleaning up and clearing away everything to make way for our service today. Hey, it only took a couple dozen of us to replace Jose to do that job. All right. Today, I'm very happy to say that Pastor Joshua Berg is with us. Well wishes to Darcy Carroll. She was unable to make it today, so I will be your worship associate. We represent progressive religious thought here in the South Bay. We welcome people of all creeds, races, sexual orientations, and gender identities. We gather here in this sacred place on the ancestral lands of the Tongva people. We strive to be better stewards of the land we are honored to inhabit. If anyone is here for the first time, we welcome you and want you to know that we have religious exploration for school-age children and childcare for preschoolers. Brunch is served on the patio after service. Your first time is free of charge. Okay, I have a few announcements. First announcement, most importantly, is regarding the pledge drive. I'd like to invite Melissa Tyrell up to give us some info.
Good morning. Thank you all for pledging. This is my visual aid. Does anyone remember what our pledge goal was? $265,000. And as of last week, let's see, last week was incredible. We were up to 211,000, I think. Yeah. And we sent out some envelopes, and the pledges keep coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And today, let's have a drum roll. Our grand total is
$230,000.
Whoa, what's this? A rogue coming in from the...
I just wanted to say that as treasurer for PUC, I sent out donation emails to everyone at the end of February. A couple of emails bounced, and we sent out physical mailed copies. If you have not received a donation summary from treasurer at PUC, please email myself and Gabby so we can get you squared away for tax season. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Melissa and Eric and to our treasurer, Alex. Okay, where were we? We were giving your favorite thing, announcements. We want to thank Linda Virgie for the beautiful flowers that she brought for today, and they were here last night too. We want to remind you that the origins and intersections of modern identity and ideologies, which is taught by Dr. Haven Perez, very interesting, this Thursday, March 27th at 4 p.m. Okay, Monday morning yoga, 10 a.m. here in the sanctuary, will feature an equinox sound bath. And here's something important to take note of. This is something new for us. This coming Saturday, March 29th at 11, in the wake of the chaos caused by our current administration in Washington, PUC will be offering a Know Your Rights training. Know Your Rights training for what to do in emergency situations, such as if ICE were to come to our campus. Okay, the rest of the wonderful things that happen here, you can see your weekly newsletter for details. Now, I'm going to take a breath, and it's time for our chalice lighting. These words by Melissa Davis. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, let it be today. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm Pastor Joshua. Wonderful to see you all this morning. Leanne, thank you. I hope Darcy feels better. Thank you for stepping in. Thank you all for the amazing anniversary dinner last night. It was wonderful. All of this art is also from our congregants. Part of that dinner was putting this art up, and I'm grateful for that. If you have any ideas for decorating the sanctuary, we have an aesthetics committee, and I can share them. And when the screen goes up, please take a look at this amazing piece behind us that Linda Virgie, who donated the flowers, also lent to us as well. It's truly amazing. It looks to me like it's like a chalice. So thank you all. Yes, thank you, Linda. And thank you to our stewardship committee for our amazing pledge drive. We are so close. To put it into perspective, the amount we have left to raise is only the equivalent of 3 cartons of eggs. A little under $30,000. And as the administration goes on, it'll be 2 and then 1 carton of eggs. So that's it. Thank you so much. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. It's inspirational. All right. I invite you all this morning to worship together with me, calling up the sacred and the spiritual in a question asked by Dee last night at our anniversary dinner. How do we combat stupidity? There is sacred and spiritual in that, you'll hear soon. With that call to worship, I invite everyone to stand in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 292, If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking.
If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. I shall not live in vain.
And as I see some of you have already taken note, all of our hymns are also in these books. So if you ever want to actually see the music that goes along with the hymns, in addition to the lyrics, our ushers can give them out every service. And now I'd like to invite our coordinator of religious education, Dr. Haven Perez, to come up and lead our Moment for All Ages.
Where are my kids at? Can my students come up, please? All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you do with a problem?
A problem like not having the
There you
slides?
go.
Oh, okay. That was the problem, I thought.
I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was there. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem, I thought? I wanted to make it go away. I shooed it. I scowled at it. I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallows me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. I wished it would disappear. I tried everything I could hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. And the more I avoided the problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized that I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was. I discovered it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity for me to learn and to grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. Thank you. Next week, they will be leading this portion to start our Earth Month. So please be prepared for that. Welcome back.
As we leave this friendly place, love gives light to every face. May the kindness we learn light our hearts as we return.
It's now time for candles of joy and sorrow. You are invited to come forward to receive a candle that you will light with the candle from the center bowl. You may wish to share a brief personal joy or concern, or light a candle in silence. We share your joys and hold space for your sorrow.
Testing. Is this on? Yeah. We'll see how it does.
Mine is a candle of joy. That last night was so much fun and so rewarding for so little, what just seemed to me so little work.
New York. And as an actor starting out, I was willing to take almost any role to get on stage. So, now one of the cast members in this play decided it would be a good idea to pay for an agent representative to come see the play. A number of us were against this idea, given it was not the best showcase, and it was probably the worst showcase. But the instigator of this was very, very persuasive and unrelenting, and we caved, and we contributed money that we didn't have to this scheme that was almost certain to return no reward. And we were right. Nothing came of it, except maybe causing an agent rep to go into shock and quit the business. Why did I do something that I knew was stupid, that I knew was a bad idea, with money I did not have? It is the same reason that on a macro scale, many millions of people, including intelligent people, make inconceivably bad decisions, such as voting against their best interests. Now, my example was of something relatively harmless, but taken to a terrifying extreme, many previously reasonable people support evils like genocide, slavery, or the killing of tens of thousands in war, as well as supporting the evil leaders who undertake these things. The seemingly obvious answer to why people act in this way is that they are neither intelligent nor reasonable. But I consider myself a rational and smart person, and in the example I gave, I did a pretty irrational thing. In fact, we all have people in our families and in our inner circles, people who we love, who we know are intelligent, most often reasonable, and with good, compassionate hearts, who support things that are to us obviously unconscionable. The 77 million people who voted for Trump can't all be completely unintelligent, compassionless, irrational people. The actual answer to why people do such things is that they are, including me, stupid. I'm referring to the theory of stupidity, the Theory der Dummheit. I'm mispronouncing it, but that's the German, that I read just now as conceived by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Intelligent, reasonable people acting against and even fighting against their own and others' best interests have been overcome by something we are all susceptible to. We're all susceptible to it if we're not diligent. Just to do a quick survey, if you here have ever done something stupid in your life, please remain seated. It's just about everybody. Everybody. Pretty much. So Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a German Lutheran minister who was part of the resistance to the Nazis, including working on a plan to assassinate Hitler. And he was jailed by the Nazis, and he was subsequently sentenced to death, and he was hanged for his resistance. But while in prison, he wrote a series of letters as he struggled to reconcile the millions of Germans who supported the Nazis and their reign of terror, inclusive of people that he knew personally as reasonable, loving people. So in one of the letters, he described this theory of stupidity, which was today's reading. I'll recap just the salient points, which are: stupidity is more dangerous than evil because you can protest and fight against evil. You have no recourse against stupidity, including and especially reason. A stupid person can easily become dangerous. Stupidity is not an intellectual defect, but a moral one. Stupidity is not genetic, but is acquired when one allows themselves to be made stupid, intentionally or not. Stupidity is a sociological, not a psychological problem, and a byproduct of external conditions. And extreme power, as we see today, especially violent power, always produces stupidity. Not that people give up their intelligence, but rather they are deprived of their judgment. The stupid person is not independent, but is under the spell of lies and propaganda. This stupid person is a victim being used and exploited. They become capable of evil, and at the same time, they are unable to see that it is evil. A few more. Stupidity can be overcome, not by reasoning, but by liberation. First outward, and then inward. Living a responsible and moral life is the only cure for stupidity. We should take comfort in considering that the majority of people actually are not stupid in every circumstance, because it depends on whether we have people in power who expect more from people's stupidity than from their inner independence and their wisdom. Now, I'm bringing up and explaining this theory of stupidity because, as Bonhoeffer wrote, if we are to fight it, we have to understand it. Anyone can succumb to stupidity, any human being, on the right, on the left, on the center, or otherwise. And when we understand that we're all vulnerable, that understanding can engender empathy and compassion, leading to reconnection. As a minister, so many people have come up to me and asked for advice. How do we confront, challenge, or convince people who've been overcome by stupidity and who believe things incomprehensibly wrong and dangerous? How do we do that? Well, the fact is, as Bonhoeffer said, you cannot use reason to combat stupidity. So part of my answer to that question is not to try and argue your points. You'll just get more frustrated and angry. You will end up more frustrated and angry, and stupidity will have won. So how can we fight the human inclination towards that stupidity? To Bonhoeffer, his dictum that it can be conquered only with external liberation leading to internal liberation, he meant by that we must live a responsible life before God. He was a Christian Lutheran pastor. And that seems somewhat, to me, broad and vague. What is a responsible life before God? So I'd like to propose today a more specific antidote along the same lines. And I've called it All Truism's Altruism. In his book, Altruism, The Power of Compassion to Change Yourself and the World, the French Buddhist monk, Mathieu Ricard, writes about altruistic love through a Buddhist lens. According to Buddhism, altruistic love is the wish that all beings find happiness and that all beings find the cause of happiness. He goes on to define happiness as a way of being based on an array of qualities that include inner freedom and inner strength, as well as an accurate view of reality and altruism itself. So I think this is beginning to sound a lot like Bonhoeffer's cure for stupidity as external liberation leading to internal liberation. One of the chief causes of suffering, according to Buddhism, is ignorance. Understood not as a lack of intelligence or information, but as a mistaken understanding of reality, onto which one projects a selfishness stemming from mental poisons such as greed or selfishness or pride or jealousy and more, leading to things like hatred, compulsive desire, and even more ignorance. This is suffering. The violent power that feeds a populace with fear and with lies. They are poisoning minds and causing suffering through stupidity. And Buddhism goes on to describe the cause of happiness as the pursuit of wisdom and a more accurate understanding of reality. In other words, the cause of happiness is freedom from false truths. It's being wise. It's connecting with what's real. Now, I didn't name this sermon Altruism's Altruism because of the clever wordplay, although that was a cool benefit. I use those words to stress that the first step in curing stupidity in ourselves and others is to make sure we have as good a grasp on reality as possible. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is immune from falling victim to stupidity all of the time. We will fall victim to it sometime. So we must double and triple check our sources of information. And we must broaden our ability to have an open mind with regards to reality, to combat ourselves falling victim to stupidity. It is an incredibly difficult task in this time of heightened anger and misinformation and frustration. So we must be ever more determined to truly understand our world, even if and when it does not align with what we want or we think we need. And that's part of pursuing our UU values, to really have that determination and strength to be wise in the world. We should seek all truisms in order to begin the process of altruistic love that will prevent and that will cure stupidity. If the first step is that commitment to reality and wisdom, the second step, and a simultaneous step I might add, includes the ingredients of altruism. It includes having empathy and compassion. Empathy plus compassion equals altruism. Empathy is the ability to understand another's suffering on a cognitive and emotional level. And compassion is the desire to free them from that suffering. And this requires a doubling down on our commitment to also hearing and believing others' truths. Whether we agree with them or not, often we won't, to being empathetic to others, even those who are victims of stupidity. Not others' facts, but others' truths. In this way, wisdom is inclusive of altruism. Altruistic love then activates parts of the brain that produce positive emotions instead of the negative ones of hate and greed and anger. That altruistic love, that empathy, that compassion, that search for wisdom produces in the brain more positive emotions, and then that leads to more altruistic love that will then overpower stupidity. And another point I would make to a person asking how to connect with people affected by stupidity is to then read the paragraph immediately following Bonhoeffer's Theory of Stupidity in his Notes and Letters. And that paragraph is called Contempt for Humanity. ? There is a very real danger of our drifting into an attitude of contempt for humanity. We know quite well that we have no right to do so, and that it would lead us into the most sterile relation to our fellow man. He writes, the following thoughts may keep us from such a temptation. It means that we at once fall into the worst blunders of our opponents. The man who despises another will never be able to make anything of him. Nothing that we despise in the other man is entirely absent from ourselves. We often expect from others more than we are willing to do ourselves. Why have we hitherto thought so intemperately about man and his frailty and temptability. We must learn to regard people less in the light of what they do or what they omit to do, and more in the light of what they suffer. The only profitable relationship to others, and especially to our weaker brethren, is one of love. And that means the will to hold fellowship with them. If we care about human suffering, which I know we do, that's why we're all here, one reason, we must be uncompromising in our commitment to our truths, not backing down from what we know is reality, not giving in to someone else's reality, but holding on to our own while doing so in an altruistic way by also having empathy and compassion for all suffering. In taking up the peaceful protests we have seen in abundance lately, including the Women's March many of us here at PUC attended just the other week, speaking our truth loudly and clearly to our politicians and everyone else while being compassionate, empathetic, and peaceful, we have already begun bravely undertaking healing the world from stupidity. One final caution is that the German Die Theorie der Dummheit can be translated in various ways. In this book, it's not translated as the theory of stupidity. It's translated as the theory of folly. So I'm not suggesting you share with a victim of stupidity the explanation of the theory of stupidity. But if you do talk about it, given how the word stupid resonates in English, it's not the nicest word. It can be an offensive word. Folly might be more advisable and relatable. I use stupid to make a point, but folly is preferable. Stupid isn't a nice word. And once again, empathy and compassion would dictate that we not call ourselves or others stupid. So returning to that play, Volley Boys. The play I did in the late 90s in New York, my hubris in thinking we could somehow win over an agent's representative with our spectacular performances, even in this horrible play, was completely unfounded. It was folly. However, the courage to believe in myself did reap certain benefits. I was in rehearsal one day when our director introduced a replacement stage manager brought in at the last minute. And as I watched this new stage manager, I was on the stage, and I watched this new stage manager enter the darkened theater, and the lights came up. I felt a connection to her like none I had felt before to any other person. And I am confident people can overcome and recover from stupidity, from folly, because despite the many, many stupid things I have done, 30 years later, I am still married to that stage manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Joshua.
Thank you.
It's now time for our offertory. You know, I don't need to remind you of how important it is to support your beloved community today. Thank you for what you give. Your ongoing support is most appreciated. Well, that was great. Please join me in reciting our affirmation of gratitude.
There we go.
Okay, here we go. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us also be grateful even for our needs, so that we may experience the generosity of others. Please stand as you are willing and able, and remain standing for our closing hymn, Heal the World by Michael Jackson.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And when you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, there's no hurt, no sorrow. There are ways to get there if we care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. If you want to know why, there's love that cannot lie. Love is strong. Can go do than giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss we cannot fear. Fear and dread, we stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always, if you love enough for the growing. So make a better world, make a better world. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. And the dream we were conceived in reveal a joyful face. And the world we once believed in will shine again in grace. Then why do we keep strangling life? Will the earth crucify the soul? It's plain to see this world is heavenly. Be God's globe. We can't fly so high. Let our spirit never die. In the heart, I feel you are all my brothers. Create a world with no fear. Together we cry happy tears. See our nations turn their swords into plowshares. We could really get there if we care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place. For you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Make a better place. Make a better place for you and for me.
Awesome. Dr. Severin Benin, Michael Saucher, is that how it's pronounced? Saucier? It's close. Michael and Severin, and our wonderful members of our choir come in even when it's not a choir day. Our volunteers come in, so please give them a hand too to help us out. Thank you so much. That's how fun the choir is. Awesome. Please, after we do the benediction, stay for the postlude, and then join us for brunch afterwards.
This church is dedicated to the proposition that behind all differences and beneath all of our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity.
May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts now and forevermore. So be it. Amen. Ashe. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. And blessed be. And now our service truly begins.
We got some special music right now.
Please remember, welcome committee meeting right after brunch.
Thank you. Yes, and come next week to see our children lead the Time for All Ages, too.
You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. You've got to spread joy up to the maximum and bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith or pandemonium is liable to walk upon the scene. To illustrate this last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looked so dark? Man, they said we gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum and bring gloom down to the minimum. Otherwise, pandemonium is liable to walk upon the scene. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looks so dark? Oh man, they said you better accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Woo! Tune Masters! Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Hi, Joshua. Oh, I'm Joshua. Yeah, Michael. Welcome. Yeah. Theory, yeah. It's letters and papers from prison. Oh, no, just reading from the Kindle. A Kindle? I created the document and I uploaded it to the book reader so that way I could read it. To find the theory of stupidity, you would have to just look up Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Theory of Stupidity. Just Google it. Yeah. So it's right here. It's in this book, but it's very short. Where is it? Oh, this is it. This is all that. It's just 2 pages. But you have to look up. Yeah, I found it fascinating when I read it. I was like, oh, I have to. That what? Oh, no. Oh, thank you. How about the congregation? Wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad you did. The main minister. So once someone else will speak. Please. I'm so glad, Mike. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't that crazy how things connect? Yeah. It's really weird, yeah. Nice meeting you.
Please.